Good evening, everyone. Welcome to American Sports Connection. I'm your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. I'm actually here at Amanda's Bar None, hanging out with a special guest. Mostly everybody knows him as Preacher. Preacher, how you doing this evening?
I am good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing well. We're actually here to talk about your newest venture, Standalone Wrestling, since you are the co-owner of this little venture. Quick backstory. Before that, you and your wife, I believe your wife was involved in it, previously ran BWO. Why did that close, and why did you guys decide to start over with this venture?
All right, so good question. So I have been helping people run their companies for well over a decade now, including the NWA, CZW, and BWO. BWO was not my company, actually. It was Richie Rotten's company, and while he handed over the reins to me at some point, it was still not my company. It was still Richie's company. One of my original trainers, great person, love Richie Rotten, still one of my best friends. Fantastic wrestler too. However, I always wanted to do something that was my vision of what professional wrestling is. While working for SWF, I met Chad Minnis, and quite honestly, he and I hit it off, and felt that maybe there was a future between the two of us, and we started talking about it a little bit, but we really were both trepidatious because of having bad dealings with other companies. But after several meetings and talks, it turned out that we both had similar visions, even though we both like different aspects of wrestling. And between Chad and my wife, I think we have the full gambit. Everything that I'm not good at, either Chad or my wife is good at, and I feel like it's vice versa. So, we're kind of like a complete circle there. So, we're super excited about standalone wrestling. I think it's going to be amazing, and I think y'all are going to be in for a pleasant, exciting wrestling experience.
Now, what is going to set you guys apart in to be honest with you, already loaded market for professional wrestling in the New Jersey, New York, Philly area?
Another excellent question, sir. Okay, so here's the thing. Everybody has their opinion on wrestling. Okay, so are there good companies out there? Yes. But in a saturated market, out of 10 companies, let me ask you a question. How many out of that 10 companies do you think are worthwhile wrestling companies?
I'd say a handful.
All right. So my hope is that we will remind everybody, of everything that they loved about professional wrestling from when they were little to right now, to what they love about it right now. Okay? And I want people walking out of there going, wow, I cannot wait until the next standalone show. When was the last time you went to a wrestling show, Joey, that you walked out of there going, man, I can't wait till that next show?
It's been a while.
There you go. And that's what's missing. And I think a lot of people are in it for the wrong reasons nowadays. I think people are trying to make money or trying to reinvent the wheel. Honestly, all these guys that think they're reinventing wrestling. Hello, everybody out there. I have news for you. You're not reinventing nothing. And we're not intending on reinventing wrestling. All I'm going to do is take what I believe are the best aspects of wrestling and put it to the forefront. Give you a reason to believe in it, to give you a reason to enjoy it again, to have a good time. That's what wrestling's supposed to be about. You're supposed to have fun at a wrestling show. That's what we're looking for.
Well, that sounds like fun. Now, I'm actually going to run through your card real quick and get your thoughts on all this stuff for your debut show, February 24th, Liftoff. at the Atlantic Cape Community College over in Mays Landing.
Yep.
Let's see here. Starting off, some people might know him in the Northeast as EYFBO. If you watch Impact Wrestling, they actually just won the Impact Tag Team titles last week, if you follow. LAX is coming in, and they are going one-on-one with a couple guys that have been making a lot of noise lately in this area, the Rep.
All right, so now everybody has seen EYFBO or LAX now. These are two gentlemen that are incredibly passionate about wrestling. I have known these young men since they got started, and always seen them as an incredible talent. And the Rep are two gentlemen that I have actually had something to do with their development. And I honestly believe that this is going to be an outstanding tag team match. And by the way, the only tag team match on our card thus far.
That's true. All right, let's see here. Next we have Tennille Dashwood, formerly known as Emma in NXT, WWE, whichever, against a viable contender, Brittany Blake.
Absolutely. Again, I had a little bit to do with Brittany's upbringing, and super excited to work with Tennille. I would like to point out to you, brother, that the one thing that you will find consistent amongst our entire roster is they are all people that you either barely know or are people that, in my opinion, have not been used properly, have not been put in the right spotlight, because absolutely every single person on the standalone roster is a superstar, and we are going to prove that to you on February 24th.
Well, there you go. All right, next we have Joe Gacy going up against Martin Stone, or Danny Burch, as you would know him in NXT.
Absolutely. You know, that was a real a chance that I took there. I'll be honest, I did not know that Martin was taking bookings in this area, and it turns out we have a mutual friend in Brutal Bob Evans, an absolutely outstanding individual. And so I hit up Martin one day and I asked him if he would be part of our show, and I thought Joe Gacy versus Martin Stone is going to be an absolute barn burner. I cannot wait for that match. If you're not excited about that match, you are not a wrestling fan. It is that simple.
I agree with you. I'm a big fan of Martin. He's got the, I guess you call it the British strong style that I like to watch. That is more, I guess you would say, legitimate, where, you know, kick ass with their strikes and all that shit. So that should be very exciting. Next week.
Wait. I have one more thing I'd like to say.
Go for it.
Okay, and this is just my personal opinion. I believe that Joe Gacy is the best unsigned talent on the East Coast.
You heard it. All right. Next we have the Rogue, Brandon Kirk, going up against Hot Sauce, Tracy Williams.
Okay, so let me tell you why I'm super excited for this match. Okay, so as a promoter, obviously I have booked hundreds and hundreds of different kinds of matches. And for me personally, by far, my favorite kind of match is when you take two completely different styles and smash them together. You've got what I would consider a super indie style in the Rogue, Brandon Kirk, against a mat wrestler in Tracy Williams. And that is going to be explosive. It's going to be absolutely outstanding. I cannot wait for that match.
All right, next we have the Masked Superstar Tulpa going up against Dante Calabrio.
See, your Spanish is terrible. It's Caballero. I kind of got that good.
I only took 2 years of Spanish in high school.
I took 0 Spanish, but I dated this Spanish chick once. And well, that's not important. That's a whole different story. That's another podcast. But here's what the story with this. Okay, now for those of you who don't know, back in October, along with CZW and several other indie companies, we did a tryout. And on that tryout, we did several matches, and one of those matches was Topa versus Dante Caballero. And when I tell you that those two tore the damn house down, we cannot wait for the standalone community to see those two in action. They are going to be absolutely excited about these two superstars.
All right. Well, next we have a Fatal 4-Way. We got Billy Danvers, Blackwater, Casey Navarro, and Ryan Gallione.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. Here's what we got going on here. Now, first of all, unfortunately, Billy Danvers is not going to be able to be at the show. He is having some family issues that he wants to deal with. So we have just today, you are the first person to find this out, we have just today replaced Billy Danvers with the explosive Kit Osborne. Okay, so here's what we got going on here. You got 4 young men eager to prove themselves to the wrestling community, eager to show the wrestling community what they are made of. And I'll tell you what, when you get 4 young men all trying to vie for one position, that's going to be some exciting stuff right there. You're going to see some flying and some fist throwing. It's going to be awesome.
All right, and last but certainly not least, we have Stefan Pennington going one-on-one with Danny Gallagher.
Okay, so here's the thing. I believe that not a lot of people in the wrestling community know about either one of these 2 young gentlemen, and that is an absolute crime. Danny Gallagher, by far, was the standout at our tryouts in October. And Stefan Pennington, for anybody who follows CZW's Dojo Wars, is a superstar. Period. Superstar. You might not like his tactics. He might be a dick, honestly. But he is an absolute superstar. And when these two collide, it's going to be magic. I'll tell you right now.
All right, Preacher. Now, tell me about your big convention that's coming up called Boardwalk Beatdown on August 25th. Where did the idea come from, and what can fans expect when they come?
Okay, so I am not going to take any credit for this one. This is my partner, Chad. Arlene and I, my wife Arlene and I, were very nervous about this whole thing. So Chad and I have become very good friends over the last year or so, and he basically brought me down to the venue and kind of gave me his spiel. He gave me the vision, gave me the idea of what he was looking to do. And although I was incredibly nervous about it, I trusted that his vision was going to work. And I do believe now, at this point, now that we've had so much going on about it, that it absolutely is. We're going to create what I believe is going to be an outstanding experience for people. There's a lot of companies out there that are doing signings where you can go meet wrestlers and that kind of thing, including even the WWE. However, what I believe that we are going to do is give people an entire weekend of a wrestling experience. We're going to make them have more fun than they've had at wrestling in a long, long time. We're going to have an area where you can do your own promo. We're going to have an area where we can teach you some wrestling holds. We're going to have tons of your favorite wrestlers that you can get to meet. And then we're going to have another outstanding standalone wrestling show at an incredibly cool venue. It's set up like a nightclub. It's got booths, and it's an amphitheater style theater. It is going to be super cool, and I think people are going to be really excited about the experience.
Now, from what I understand, Goldberg's going to be there as one of the co-headliners.
Yep.
I believe you're going to announce the other headliner at the February show, correct?
Yes, February 24th, we are going to announce a co-headliner. So, obviously, Goldberg's a big name, so you can expect another outstanding announcement on February 24th. Listen, here's the bottom line. If you're a wrestling fan, hell, if you just want to have fun, you don't want to miss that weekend. You do not want to miss it. It's going to be outstanding. It's going to be one of the best times you've ever had at a wrestling show.
Now, for people who want to get tickets ahead of time, how can they get them? I know you guys have a website up. Go ahead and plug all that stuff.
Piece of cake. So you go to standalonewrestling.com. It can't be any easier than that. Listen, are you paying attention? Write it down, right? Get the pen. I'll give you a second. Hurry up. Come on. It's behind it. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Now write it down. Stand alone wrestling. Don't forget there's a T in wrestling. Don't forget. Standalonewrestling.com. Go there right now before you forget and get your tickets immediately. And then call your friends and tell them to get their tickets immediately.
Easy enough. Now, if people want to get a hold of you about the event or anything for that matter, how do they reach you on social media?
They can reach me at 1-800-do-not-call-me. No. I'm just playing. So you can find me on Facebook under Phineas James, my name. It's with a F, not a PH. Anybody who spells it with a PH is not right. It's Finneus James. If you can't spell James, you need to go back to school. There's something wrong with you, and clearly you are a fan of our current president. So, here's what I want you to do. Hit me up on Facebook. If you're a creep, leave me alone. Because if you've met me, you'll realize that if you're a jerk to me, I will murder you. Don't do that. No, I'm just kidding. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to standalonewrestling.com, get your tickets, and then you can hit me up on Facebook and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the show. We'll talk about all the fun we're going to have, and then get your butt to CZW Dojo Wars and come see some of our superstars before you see them at the big stage of standalone wrestling.
Well, you heard it loud and clear, ladies and gentlemen. So on that note, we're going to get out of here for tonight. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, give it a thumbs up, all that good shit. We'll see you back next time. Have a good night.
Finally Pro Wrestling returns to Mays Landing as Standalone Wrestling debuts at Atlantic Cape Community College Building E on February 24th. Visit standalonewrestling.com for ticket information or call 609-709-8536 to order with credit card by phone.